Raphael Tuju, a close ally of President Uhuru Kenyatta, woke up one morning recently and went to the Inoro FM radio station, where he unleashed a bombshell, telling Kenyans for the first time officially, because he's a very senior official of Jubilee, he was there when President Uhuru Kenyatta were coming together with William Samoei Ruto to form the Uhuru Ruto team, that won the 2013 presidential elections, allegedly. For the first time, Tuju made it official that William Samoei Ruto did not support Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta for free. He did not do it out of his love in the heart for the nation called Kenya, and out of his determination to bring two communities that were at serious loggerheads then, the Kalenjin nation and the House of Mumbi. No, it was all paid for. Now we've been hearing these rumors for a long time. And you know the thing about rumors in politics, you have to take them seriously, no matter how far-fetched they sound. Because in most instances, rumors in politics fall into two categories. They are either blatant propaganda, or there's something based on the truth that one side once released for their advantage on the political battleground. That's really what it is. But now Tuju made it official, and he even told us that the backers, those people backing President Uhuru Kenyatta, got together and raised the humongous amount of money that William Samoei Ruto asked for. That is what my show is about today. And we also discuss where that information is targeted and the political objectives, very clear political objectives that are behind it. Because take careful note of the fact that the first place where this bombshell was dropped was a vernacular radio station. That is significant. Anyway, stay with me on this show and get all the details, all the juicy, shell-shocking details. Now, very quickly, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank so much those people who have already come forward to show Kumekucha Kshs some love. And now we only have 3 days left before we say goodbye to the month of July 2022. And I know many more of you will take this opportunity to do something that is important for this channel and important for the development of this channel. So I say asante sana in advance. But for now, we have a very serious issue before us. I am more than sure you're going to enjoy this show thoroughly. Kwa hivyo, wasee, twende kazi. If you're a regular on this channel, you will know that several times we have agreed that the strategy of Team Azimio is to expose Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. And we have also agreed that they are releasing scandals and information, negative information about the Deputy President, in small doses. Kama dawa. Haumwagi kila kitu, ni kidogo kidogo, dawa kidogo kidogo. And we also agreed that as we draw closer to the general elections, they will up their game. It reveal much more. and leave the most damaging revelations to last. I'm sure you remember all that. And therefore it was not a surprise to you when Raphael Tuju went on air. He started with the Noro radio station and told us that in 2013, Deputy President William Samoei Ruto did not join Uhuru, did not support Uhuru for free. He was actually paid a huge sum of money, to join up with Uhuru Kenyatta. And the implications, according to what Raphael Tuju told us, is that the demand for money on Uhuru took the president completely by surprise. Of course, by that time he was not yet president. And what ended up happening is that well-wishers, those backing Uhuru Kenyatta, scrambled to raise the huge sums of money required for Uhuru Ruto to happen. And they did. Now, to be fair to the deputy president, facilitation fees, because this is what this was, is normal in Kenyan politics these days. When somebody joins an alliance, or when somebody joins a political formation, a coalition of some sort, it is normal these days for those people to ask for money. In other words, what the public doesn't know, when elections come around in Kenya, there are some people who are presidential material who start getting very excited. But they're not excited because they have a chance of winning the presidency. No. They're usually very excited because they have a good chance, an opportunity to make some serious cash, to boost their bank accounts with a figure that has endless zeros. That's normal. However, in this particular case, we need to note the fact that the reason why this information has been released to Kenyans, of course Kenyans have always been hearing rumors, oh, so-and-so was asked to be paid and so on. But the reason why Team Azimio decided to release this information at this time was targeted very carefully at the Mount Kenya region. We have to be very clear about that. You see, one of the most powerful narratives the Deputy President has had in the Mount Kenya region is that nobody was willing to support the House of Mumbi except him. And he came to the rescue of the House of Mumbi at a time of need. He helped them out of his good heart. And therefore, it is only logical, it is only right, it is only human for the House of Mumbi to return the favor. That has been Ruto's strongest, most powerful, most convincing narrative. Now, here at the 11th hour, somebody has thrown a spanner into the works. And now Mount Kenya people must sit up and realize that the support they got from William Samoei Ruto and his Kalenjin nation did not come for free. It was paid for. And therefore, there is no debt to be repaid. Because when you're paid for something, or when you're paid to do something, it doesn't matter what you call the payment, facilitation fees, whatever, or money to go and convince your community, it doesn't matter. But you have been paid. And of course, there's an agreement before you're paid. You're being paid to do 1, 2, 3. And therefore, William Ruto was paid to do 1, 2, 3, which he did. End of transaction. Nobody owes nobody any money. Nobody owes nobody any favors. That was a done deal. And therefore, if somebody wants another deal, that's a different story. But as far as the past is concerned, all accounts have been settled. That is really the message from Team Azimio, strategists to the people of the Mount Kenya region. And therefore, if voters of the Mount Kenya region still want to punish President Uhuru Kenyatta. I don't know how they're going to punish him. But if they still insist on punishing President Uhuru Kenyatta by rejecting Raila Amolo Odinga and instead voting for what Uhuru does not want very clearly, and that is Ruto, if they decide to continue on that path, then they need to know the facts. That was the message. They need to know that there's no debt. Now, the super fascinating thing here is that this revelation has caught UDA and the handlers of the deputy president completely by surprise. Their reaction tells it all. For starters, they have not denied it. Instead, they've gone for the tiny, tiny details. Okay? Because there's a figure that has always been thrown around, several billions over the years. Yeah, you know, this rumor first came out in 2013. Or rather, it was a rumor then. But now, we have a source deep inside Jubilee telling us it's a fact, and telling us that they're prepared to go before a court of law to give that evidence that money exchanged hands in return for the support of William Samoei Ruto. Now, there's something else, another bombshell, that Raphael Tuju released. He told us that the deputy president has a long history of being violent towards women. And he gave us an example in passing, didn't give us too much details, that there's actually a lady who was beaten up by the deputy president and received such serious injuries that they had to be flown out of the country, I think to South Africa, for treatment. Now, I believe regulars on this channel are already aware that the deputy president has a very short fuse. Yeah, that's not news. And I also know that regulars on this channel are aware that violence has been committed against some women by the said individual who wants to be our next president. That shouldn't be news to anybody. But the issue here is the timing of this information. The timing. I mean, it is barely 1 week to the elections. Now, allow me a small aside, which is very relevant. The nature of a voter is very, very similar to the nature of a woman about to get married. How so? Let me explain. You can have this girl who's very happy with you. She's very happy to be your wife. She's excited about it. She's looking forward to it. But then, as the day of the wedding draws closer, doubts start coming to her head. I'm doing this thing for the rest of my life. Marriage is forever. Am I making the right decision? Will this man change somewhere along the road? There are those doubts. If anybody has been with a bride, in most instances, there's an element of doubt that emerges. We even know of cases where marriages have been put off because these doubts that come at the last minute have overwhelmed the bride. It is the same in politics. People may be very excited about a certain candidate. They may eat a lot of his money. That's how we put it in Kenya. They may enjoy a lot of his freebies. But then as the election date draws closer, many voters tend to withdraw, to think a little harder, especially if that candidate is not from their tribe. Oh yes. Now that is probably the most important aside in history. For the simple reason that it is very relevant to the timing of Team Azimio in releasing this latest bombshell to us. It comes at a time when voters are about to enter that period of doubt of reconsideration, of trying to come back to their senses so that they vote soberly. And voila, suddenly, there's something to nudge them on in a certain direction, away from a certain presidential candidate. What? These Azimio strategists, they are totally on another level. Let us just admit that raw Safi. Yeah, without my feelings, without being told, oh, you're supporting Azimio. No. Let us just look at the cold facts. These fellows are smart. Make no mistake about it. But even after all that, there is something I want to draw your very careful attention to. You remember we've said that these revelations and dropping of bombshells is supposed to build up towards the day of the election, right? This one has come out about 9-10 days before the presidential elections. It is still unraveling. People are still discussing it. So, we should expect another bigger, more shocking bombshell to be released very soon. What? I know, imaginations are running wild, trying to imagine what other bombshell that can be bigger than what you've already had is going to be released. And we know for sure it is going to be released. That information for sure you can be sure is going to come out. So that as we come to an end of the campaigns, people will not even be discussing issues. People will be discussing, ulisikia hii maneno? Ati deputy president alifanya nini? Ni kweli? And so on and so forth. The whole idea being that any firm support of the deputy president will have to think twice. And some of those people who think twice may change their minds. And they don't have to vote for Raila. I believe the whole objective here is to deny the deputy president votes. If those votes go to Raila, that's okay. But the main objective, that those votes do not, under any circumstances, go to the deputy president. The idea is to reduce his votes. Of course, one of the chief beneficiaries in this case may be the weed-loving professor, Professor George Wajakoya. I almost said Wajakaya. Bottom line, brace yourselves. Let us brace ourselves for some major, very major bombshells as we head to the mother of all general elections in the country called Kenya. Until next time, this is Kshs Kumekucha. Now, I've covered in these WIBs before the story about intelligence officers being dispatched from Kenya to all corners of the world, but more specifically to China. Their mission? They went to collect evidence. According to impeccable sources, this problem started when it was brought to the president's attention. This happened, according to my information, around mid-2016. Rather, that is when the signs of a strained relationship started appearing. The information was most probably brought to the attention of the president much earlier than that. Let us say early 2016. And at the time this information was brought to his attention, it was clear that the president was in a very vulnerable position. If I can use the American expression, what actually happened is that the deputy president blindsided the president. Now it is important to remember, those who take careful note of what is happening in the country, that around mid-2016, a man called David Murathe came out with a rather strange statement, which many Kenyans ignored.